Good evening here from HGV Park. My name is Edson Ochoa. I am accompanied today, as always, by my co-host, Jacob Young. Jacob, what a roller coaster of emotions this game was. And at the end, RGVFC did what it took to get a 2-1 victory over Phoenix Rising.
Yeah, they needed a lot too. I mean, it's Phoenix Rising, especially when they come over to RGVFC. There's always fireworks, which is insane. If you don't think about it, I mean, they've come here countless amounts of times where even Phoenix have been in the lead and they've shot themselves in the foot, and RGVFC have been able to capitalize and get points. RGVFC, a long time ago, we're not this team that we're seeing. We're not the team that we saw last year. We're not, that great. And so for them to be in that game was amazing, considering Phoenix Rising were the Kings. The Kings were slain last year against for RGVFC. And then, of course, this year, coming into this game, we knew 3 points were, you and I both knew 3 points were needed. And then all of a sudden, RGVFC, that first half was good. Even though Jonas said, yeah, they needed to clean up some stuff, even on a bad day, to me was not that bad of a day. They were able to really grind it out, and those are the victories that show the most about this team.
But you know what? I think it shows you the level of expectations the team has for themselves and how they perform. They know that they had multiple opportunities, especially in the first half, where they were dominating the match the first 10-15 minutes, and they weren't able to put those one-on-ones away, which is good, because that means that they're always hungry, that they're never complacent, they're not mediocre, and you need something like that, especially now when you know you're going to be going up against tougher opponents if you do make it to the playoffs. Yeah. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. I mean, the team is about a step and a half in the playoffs. You've got one more game. You've got 3 more points on the line. You just defeated Phoenix Rising, eliminated Phoenix Rising with this result. So you knew that Phoenix Rising was going to come in daring, was going to come in, trying to take a lot of risks in order to get a positive result here at HGV Park. They knew that winning was the only option for them. You couldn't draw because that would eliminate you. Oakland Roots won 3 points tonight against Hartford Athletic. You knew that if you lose, you're against the Toros, you're automatically out. So they made risks, and it didn't work out for them, because RGVFC played their hearts out tonight. They hustled. They played with the knife between their teeth. It was gritty. It was very entertaining. And it was kind of like a good reminder of what this team can do. We're talking to Tyler Deric. We were talking to Jonas Spielberg. We talked to Wilmer Cabrera right now at post-game press conference. They commended, their players because of how they performed, despite coming off of 3 games in a week. Yeah. Yes, they did rotate their squad against Memphis, but they ended up having to use some of their starters to try to get a positive result, a draw, because they knew that a loss would be of no good to them in order to fight for the playoffs. Yeah. So the fact that they came in and they played their hearts out for almost 100 minutes, I think the fans here at HGV Park that made their way here should be very proud of this team, and should definitely come back next week to support them against Monterey Bay.
Yeah, exactly. Against Monterey Bay, for sure. Coming back, it's going to be most important. Very impressed with this club. It took guts, man. It really did take guts tonight for this team to just find a way to get a win, even though they would be tired. And Wilmer knew it. And we talked so much about it on Thursday. Almost said Wednesday, but we talked so much about it on Thursday about the roster and how Wilmer had to put in substitutes. You were questioning that roster, I know that, and all of a sudden it proved out here that that's what they needed. Because imagine if Wilmer does put the same starting 11 just about all on paper and puts them out onto the field as one of it.
Yeah.
How much of a difference would this game have been?
Especially with the speed of Phoenix Rising,
Mm-hmm.
Babu Karjai. Obviously, Babu Karjai was a player that we had in the RGV last season. Now he's with Phoenix Rising. And I feel like outside of that play that led to that questionable penalty call, I think Jonathan Ricketts had a really good game against going up against a player that had a speed advantage and a strength advantage.
Yep.
And he was able to hold on well for the most part. Obviously, so Fieldberg gets a brace. And I think if I recall correctly, both of them were from that left side. Second one in the second half where he shoots from outside the box. I know we were talking with Hector Severin and Carlos Ravelo from Telemundo where we were at, and he was he was like, why is he cutting back? Because we felt like he wasn't a lefty, but man, did he prove us wrong. But overall, a great game. I think the only questionable aspect I saw was in the goal by Phoenix Rising. I felt like maybe Wahabakwe was a little bit too aggressive in that play. First of all, he should have been a foul, but obviously with the advantage it played on. But because he moved up too far up of the field, I want to say that the foul happened past midfield.
Yeah.
So he was way up.
Mm-hmm.
And Phoenix gets the rebound. And so now you left a huge gap in the back that Phoenix was able to capitalize and score the goal. But I think outside of that, the team performed really, really well. And then in the second half, you see Wilmer Cabrera around the 60th minute make a substitution, put in a line of 5, bringing in Eric Pimentel and taking out Jonas Fieldberg. I questioned, well, why Jonas Fieldberg? And Jonas pretty much answered and said, I was feeling pretty fatigued today. So it makes sense. Wilmer Cabrera talked about, bringing in Eric Pimentel because of his experience, because of what he can bring to bring calm into the team. He also mentioned that the timing for him was correct because he felt like if he delayed that substitution too much, Phoenix Rising was going to be more daring. He could have probably caught the Toros backline off guard. We don't know if that's exactly what would have happened, but I'm willing to I think Wilmer has shown us this season that we have to give him the benefit of the doubt. We criticized him using an alternative lineup against Phoenix. Look how that worked out. We criticized, his substitution in the 16th minute for a line of 5. I know the guys from Telemundo, they were like, well, that's a bit very early, to make a defensive-minded substitution. But it all worked out well in the end for RGVFC.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, you have to trust him more now. It's crazy. I think we go on and off about this every single week. Just about, Edson, you and I. Like, no, he shouldn't have done that. You don't make that substitution at this time. This time, of course, this week we're saying perfect time. We don't know what we're talking about officially. Mm-hmm. We're just two pundits on the sideline, couch potatoes.
Wow, if we're pundits, wow, the benchmark must have lowered dramatically. But then again, I look
everybody has a podcast now, so
that is very true. But how long have we been with this podcast?
Yeah, it's about what, 8 years.
So actually, just a quick pause. Next week, October 15th, is officially the 5th anniversary of Down on the Valley. The first episode as a standalone podcast was October 15th, 2017. So I think it's just a perfect coincidence that our regular season finale is going to be on the day of our anniversary. But anyway, going back into the match, Tyler Deric, man, what a player, what a goalkeeper, what a leader he is.
Yes.
For us.
Yeah, It's crazy. I mean, watching him all of his career, from the time that he was with Houston Dynamo as a backup to when he was a starter at Houston Dynamo, and to see how much he's progressed from that era of Tyler Deric to this era of Tyler Deric, because remember, every single person is changing every freaking day for most likely the better of themselves. And I mean, he is a class act as can be, and just what a leader. Like, the defense listens to him so well, and for him to have so many close calls from both sides was amazing. And he might have missed it at one point, but the pace of the ball sometimes was going slow enough for him to be able to save it. And then, of course, him not wanting to give away any secrets from his penalty takes in the
which is understandable.
Of course, that's what I was gonna get at. It's like, yes, I don't want you to exploit that either, because all of a sudden somebody else gets that information and it exploits it. And it's like, okay, he knows what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna do the opposite. Then all of a sudden, it can become an issue for especially the scouting report that players get. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, what a leader, what a steal RGVFC got for about 3 years ago, from when Tyler Deric kind of had that incident at Houston Dynamo, gets cut from them, and then RGVFC are like, we'll take him. And he comes down here and all of a sudden is this massive leader for this team. It couldn't be any better. I'm so happy to have him still.
Yeah, what a way for him to pump up the crowd, not only with that penalty save, Jacob, but the fact that he feels that connection with the fans. I've heard from sources that he is extremely happy here in the Valley. He loves it here. So, and you see it reflected out there. He gives it his all. Today he had a cowardly move done against him by number 17 of Phoenix Rising, with that desperation, that frustration of not being able to get something past Tyler Deric. By the way, number 17, if you're listening to, if you're watching this video, yeah, I said it, you're a freaking coward. That's all I'm going to say. But yeah, outstanding performance tonight. Now, the question is, what happens from here? There's still a lot of variables, because yes, the Toros only have 3 points left, but we're still pending a game against an El Paso game against Birmingham. That's tomorrow. Mm-hmm. We're still missing a Monterey Bay versus Tulsa, which was postponed to an undisclosed date as of right now that we're recording this video. Why was it postponed? Racial issues concerning Tampa Bay Rowdies.
And one more game too. New Mexico United and LA Galaxy 2.
Los dos, exactly. So that game was postponed due to rain, will be played on Wednesday. So technically, we potentially have 2 Wednesday games that we have to look out for. Yep. We've got El Paso tomorrow. Obviously, Oakland won their game 2-1. They're still behind us due to 2 head-to-head. Remember, that is the first tiebreaker. So, but at the end of the day, the Toros control their destiny. Yep. And I think the player said it best. We're not caring too much about what happens everywhere. We need to focus on what we can do. Yep. If we start worrying too much about what everybody else does, that gives us a lot more. It's a lot more pressure. Yep. We know what we do. What brought us here? Tyler Deric said it. What brought us to this point? Hard work, grit, determination, and family. Yep. So, God, I sounded with family. I sounded like freaking Dom Toretto. Anyway, but yeah, it's just great. It's just great to see. The fans were electric. It was I felt like it was a good atmosphere, a good turnout. But we really want you all next week as well. The team deserves it. They need you. Fieldberg said it. We need. This is the time when we need you the most. So hopefully we can see an even bigger turnout next week. But tonight we go home content, happy. Bring out your favorite alcohol. Drink responsibly, obviously. Don't drink and drive. But now it's time for the players to rest up and do what they continue to do during the week. And hopefully we don't have another issue with another postponement with Monterey Bay. It's a very delicate situation. We will be monitoring it if any updates come up. We will let y'all know on our social media at down in the RGV on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. But Jacob, who was your man of the match?
Man of the match for me, you got to give it to Filber. He scores both those goals. Yes, I would have given it to Tyler Deric, but it's technically not a shutout. And you got to score goals in order to win. And Filberg was able to do that perfectly because finishing is more important than, missing those goals.
I think for me, Tyler Deric, obviously, for me, you don't get the shutout, but you get a key penalty save that changed the momentum in favor of the Toros. It killed any aspirations from Phoenix Rising. It, like I said, it spiked up the fans. You had other key saves out there that kept RGV in contention. Because you have to remember the first 10, 15 minutes of the second half, it was mostly Phoenix. Like right after they scored their first goal, Phoenix dominated, and Tyler Deric had some really good saves there to keep it in contention and not allow Phoenix Rising to revert the scoreline. But everybody out there that's watching right now, leave in the comments down below, leave who you believe the man of the match is for tonight. But Jacob, it's time to go now. Vamos todos a dormir. But what is final thoughts?
Final thoughts. Yeah, we'll wait and see what happens this week, basically, from Wednesday to coming back here Saturday. It's going to be an exciting one. Great night of soccer. Couldn't have enjoyed it any less, because we got the 3 points and we're still in this.
I am not going to lie, guys. If I were to show you right now my watch, my stress levels. In fact, I'm going to show it to you. My stress levels from this game were through the roof. So, and I'm still trying to kind of calm myself down. That's how amazing this match was and how nerve-wracking it was. But overall, positive results. I get to sleep happy. We get to sleep happy. But we'll see you all first on Wednesday on the Down in the Valley podcast. Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. on YouTube, on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Down in the Valley. Be sure to check out our previous episode. It is now on YouTube and, of course, on your favorite podcasting platform. Follow us on our social media. Mine is Ochoa_8 on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Jacob Young 456 on Twitter, and of course the Overreacted Gamer on YouTube. Check out his racing content. Guys, thank you so much for getting here this far. We'll see each other in the next episode of the Down in the Valley podcast. Have a good night.